All right, let's jump into this deep dive. Thinking about becoming a technical communicator. Pretty interesting career path, especially these days.
Yeah, it's really blown up, hasn't it?
Totally. Everything's about tech now, right? So, being the one who makes it all make sense, talk about a valuable skill set.
No kidding.
And to help us unpack this whole thing, we've got a stack of RoleCatcher articles right here. They've got all the inside info on what this job really entails, what skills you need, and even how to land that dream technical communicator gig.
It's like a cheat sheet for your career.
Totally. No confusing jargon, just straight up insights. So let's start with the basics.
Right.
What exactly does a technical communicator do all day?
Well, I think everyone's encountered this, right? You buy some new gadget, excited to use it, and then you open the manual.
And it's like reading another language.
Exactly. A technical communicator is the one who makes sure that doesn't happen. They take those complex ideas, think software instructions, technical specs, even those white papers you hear about.
Those are like in-depth reports, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they turn them into something anyone can understand, whether it's a manual, a website, or even a video tutorial.
So like translating geek speak into plain English.
You got it. They're communication masters, making sure that information is clear, concise, and easy to digest.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is a hot career path. And RoleCatcher talks a lot about high demand, great salaries. But is that just hype? Or are we really talking big bucks for explaining tech stuff?
Oh, it's definitely a field on the rise. Think about it in this tech-driven world. Being able to communicate clearly about technology, that's gold.
Right, because if nobody understands your product, it doesn't matter how great it is.
Exactly. Companies know that, and they're willing to pay top dollar for someone who can bridge that gap between the tech and the user.
Okay, so say you're sold on this idea, ready to dive into the world of clear communication. What does it actually take to become a technical communicator? What are the must-have skills you need to rock this role? Let's break it down. RoleCatcher had a pretty good list.
Yeah, they did. And at its core, this role is all about, well, communication, right? So writing skills are non-negotiable. Got to be able to take complex stuff and make it and
Yeah.
sing.
Makes sense. But they also mentioned active listening. Why is that important for someone who writes about tech? It's not like they're doing interviews or anything.
True, but it's more than just hearing what people say, you know? It's about really understanding the user's needs. Like, what are they struggling with? What information do they need to be successful?
So it's like being a detective, but instead of solving crimes, you're solving communication breakdowns.
Exactly. A good technical communicator can anticipate problems before they even happen just by listening carefully and understanding their audience.
That's pretty cool. So you're not just writing, you're problem solving too.
You got it. It's a lot more than just putting words on a page.
Okay, so we've covered the communication side of things. What about the technical part? Do you need to be a coding whiz to make it in this field?
Well, you don't need to be building the next big app.
Phew.
But you do need a certain level of tech savviness. You'll be working with software all the time, so familiarity with things like Madcap Flare or Adobe RoboHelp is pretty important.
Okay, those names sound a little intimidating.
Don't worry. Think of it like this. You can't write a great recipe if you've never used a stove, right? You need to know your way around the tools of the trade.
That's a tasty analogy. Okay, so we've covered skills. What about education? Does everyone in this field have a degree in, like, technical jargon? Is that even a thing?
I wish that'd be a popular major if it existed.
Right. So what does the educational landscape look like for aspiring technical communicators?
Well, RoleCatcher lists a few different paths you can take. A degree in technical writing is obviously a great foundation.
Sure, that makes sense.
But, degrees in communications, English, even journalism, those can all be really valuable too.
Yeah. Really? I wouldn't have thought of that. So it's not just about, like, the technical writing itself, but also having strong communication skills in general.
Exactly. And honestly, relevant experience can sometimes trump a degree, especially in this field.
So it's not just about the piece of paper, but what you can actually do with your words.
100%. Employers want to see that you can take complex information and make it clear, concise, and engaging.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills, the education, but what about the actual career path? Does RoleCatcher give any insight into what that journey looks like? Like, what are the different levels you can reach as a technical communicator?
Yeah, they do. They break it down into 4 main stages: junior, mid-level, senior, and principal. And it's not just about climbing a ladder, it's about gaining more responsibility, more autonomy, and ultimately more impact as you progress.
So it's a whole career journey. Okay, let's map out those stages, starting with junior technical communicator. What's life like at the bottom rung?
Well, think of it as your apprenticeship. You're learning the ropes, assisting senior colleagues, probably doing a lot of editing and formatting at first, getting your feet wet.
Right, paying your dues.
Exactly. But it's not all grunt work. You're building those core skills.
Mm.
Writing, analyzing information, understanding user needs.
Getting that foundation.
Yep.
Okay, then you level up to mid-level technical communicator. What does more independence look like at this stage?
This is where you really start flexing those creative muscles. You're trusted to handle projects from start to finish, developing information and media concepts.
So are we talking like actually designing those manuals and tutorials and stuff?
Yeah. Imagine brainstorming the best way to present a new software feature, right? You create a quick start guide, a video tutorial, maybe even an interactive simulation.
Wow, so you're not just writing anymore, you're designing how that information is presented.
Exactly. And then you've got the senior technical communicator level, which is where leadership skills really come into play.
Okay, so like leading a team of writers, mentoring newbies, making sure everything meets those high standards.
You got it. It's a whole new ballgame. And finally, you reach the peak. Principal technical communicator.
Okay, spill the beans. What does a principal even do all day? What does reaching the summit of technical communication look like?
Well, it's pretty amazing, actually.
Okay.
At this level, you're not just writing or even designing information flow. You're shaping the entire communication strategy for a company or department.
Whoa, that's a big responsibility. So
Yeah.
walk me through it. What does that look like in action? Like, what are you doing day to day?
Well, imagine this. You're looking at the big picture,
Okay.
analyzing how communication impacts the user experience for everything the company does.
Got it.
You might be developing style guides, creating templates, even leading training sessions for other writers. You're essentially the guardian of clear, consistent communication across the board.
So you've gone from writing manuals to writing the rules for everyone LSE who writes manuals.
Yeah.
Talk about a glow up. But before we get too lost in the strategic stratosphere, let's come back down to earth for a minute.
RoleCatcher doesn't just tell you about the job, they give you the tools to actually land it right.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
And their interview prep section is a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
It's packed with realistic interview questions.
Specifically tailored to technical writing so you can walk into that interview feeling confident and prepared.
Oh, I love that. And let's not forget about their AI-powered tools. I mean, getting your resume and cover letter analyzed by an AI that knows exactly what employers are looking for, that's next-level stuff.
It really is. It's like having a personal career coach available 24/7 to give you that extra edge.
Wow.
They even have AI-powered interview practice giving you feedback on your delivery and content.
So RoleCatcher isn't just a career guide. It's like a whole support team cheering you on every step of the way.
I like that.
Pretty cool. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. The what, the how, and even the how much of this whole technical communicator gig.
And what started as, what do these people even do, has become, wow, I could have a real impact. That's the beauty of this field.
Exactly. It's about making tech accessible, understandable, and maybe even a little bit enjoyable. So it's more than just making things clear. It's about making a difference.
Totally. And you know what's really cool? RoleCatcher doesn't just talk about the job. They give you the tools to actually land it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, totally. Their interview prep section is like having a secret weapon. It's full of those real deal interview questions, like the ones they actually ask in technical writing interviews.
It's such a good resource. I mean, I wish I had something like that when I was starting out.
Right. Talk about a confidence booster. And speaking of boosting, let's not forget about their AI-powered tools.
Oh, yeah, those are amazing.
Getting your resume and cover letter analyzed by an AI that knows exactly what employers are looking for. It's like having a superpower.
It's like having a secret weapon for your job search. Honestly, I think everyone should be using tools like this. It's just smart.
Totally agree. Okay, so we've dug deep into this whole technical communicator thing, how much, but at the end of the day, it's really about the impact, right?
Absolutely. It's about making tech less scary, more understandable, maybe even a little fun.
Exactly. So here's a little something to think about as we wrap up this deep dive. If you could make any kind of information crystal clear for people, what would it be? What change do you want to see in the world? Because becoming a technical communicator isn't just about finding a job. It's about finding a purpose. And who knows, maybe RoleCatcher is the first step on that journey. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.